Yesterday we are discussing about ports, protocols, HTTP communication, HTTPS communication, symmetric, asymmetric communication, symmetric encryption, asymmetric encryption, public key, private key. Okay, so and the default ports. What is the default port for HTTPS? Okay, 443 RDP. What is the default port number for RDP? These are all interview questions for 3 years to 5 years experience, even for freshers. 3389. Okay. What else? SMTP. Just a quick revision before we get into the new concept. 25. Okay. And then which one is secure, HTTP or HTTPS? Okay, fine. What are the two types of keys that are used in asymmetric encryption process? Public key and private key. Which one is confidential out of these three keys? Which one has to be kept confidential so that we don't share it with anyone? It will be only with the administrator or application owner. Private means private, secret. Private key is the one which has to be kept confidential. What are the principles of information security? What are the principles of information security? CIA, confidentiality, integrity, and availability. Confidentiality says that only authorized members can access the data. Integrity says that only authorized members can modify or delete the data in an authorized manner. Availability says that application or the service should be reachable to the legitimate users all the time. These are lack of availability causes DOS attacks. Okay, these are the things which we have discussed in the last two classes. Very easy and important. These are the core. I mean to say, like, core for cyber security. And we have discussed about vulnerability, right? What do you mean by vulnerability? Vulnerability is a loophole, flaw, or weakness, or a security defect which can be used by the hackers or the attackers to gain access to the system or to compromise the system or application or device. Just remember these definitions. Now let us get into some more concepts. We'll discuss about defect and then we'll discuss about security defect. After that, why it is very important, why is testing very important for software applications, and what is meant by software development lifecycle. These are the topics which we are going to discuss today's session. Okay, so let us start with a defect. Or okay, what do you mean by defect? Everyone knows, like, more oftenly will be hearing this term, right? What does it mean by defect? It is also a loophole or a bug. I want to design a car which will give me 20 kilometers per liter of mileage. So I planned like this, but after designing or after implementation, I am getting only 5 kilometers per liter. Is this a defect? Yes or no? Mileage issue, right? That is definitely a defect. And I want to design a website and the logo should be like this, hacker book. The logo or the name should get displayed like hacker book. It has displayed like hack book. Is this a defect or not? Basically, whenever you see some, this is the expected. something what you wanted is expected, and something what you got it. Basically, expected versus actual results. Actual means after implementation, what is the actual output you are getting? If there is any deviation between the actual results and the expected results, then we can confirm that there is a defect, or it is called a defect, right? If there is any deviation between the actual results and expected results, then we can call it like a defect. Not only about software applications, it can be some non-IT applications or products. We want the application or the product without any defects. 99.99% of defect-free application will be able to get it, but we cannot assure 100%. That is not at all possible. Okay, so whenever you want to purchase something, I'm sure like you guys don't want defective products. So what do you want? Quality applications or quality products you want it, right? Just like non-IT applications or non-IT products, even for IT applications also, quality is very important. As and then the defects count increases, the quality will go down. Am I correct? Yeah. So how do we design an application or develop an application which has very less number of defects, or which has good quality for the application? How do we do it? What is the process to follow so that we get an application with very less defects? What can we do? Anyone? For example, imagine a car manufacturing unit. You want the car which doesn't have any defects. So in the manufacturing stage, there are two phases. One is manufacturing phase. Other one is live or production. Production in the sense live environment, customer environment. Production or live or customer environment. So before we before we give this application to the customers, it has to go through some quality control, QC, or quality analysis. So this will help us to reduce the defects for any kind of application. So in this phase, the quality control engineers will do the testing. This is with respect to the non-IT application, that is the car. Similarly, even for IT applications also, same process is followed, but there is a process called development life cycle, software development life cycle, one of the development model. We'll discuss that that specific development model for now. Okay. What is the difference between defect and vulnerability? We discussed about vulnerability is a loophole or flaw that compromises the system. Am I correct? Compromise CIA. How about defect? Defect is a function. It can be anything. Any deviation we can consider it like any kind of deviation from the actual or any kind of deviation from the expected results can be considered as a defect. So it can be even a security defect. The vulnerability is also called security defect. If there are any vulnerabilities, our application will compromise. If there are any kind of defects, the quality will go down. So let us discuss about the development life cycle. We have a lot of companies, right? As we discussed, e-commerce applications, banking applications, health insurance, government websites, college websites, hospitals, stock market. Lot many websites you see, lot many mobile apps you see. All these are into business. They're just trying to enable their business online. That's it. So it is also very important for them to have a better quality and have a secure application. Hackers should not be able to compromise their targets. Consider you want to develop one startup website, abc.com, and if you want to develop some website like this, can I get all the relevant job roles or the designations which are required? What kind of job roles are required to develop a website? I'm going to work on a startup company. Do I need developers? Yes or no? I need developers. What else we need? What kind of job roles do we need? Each one has to give me one answer. Testers, yes. Who else? Quality control engineers. Testers and comes under quality control, or even some designations are there. Quality analyst engineer, test engineer, manual tester also there. Manual tester. These are the job roles. Developer, programmer, both are same. It can be C# or Java or PHP. Any other? Security engineer, yes. Developer is considered. Data analyst, like data analyst will try to process the data and see like what are the different kinds of changes you can do so that your business will increase. Somewhere data analyst, I'll say, like after the application is developed, data analyst will come into picture. Any other job roles? Pen tester, okay, pen tester will be there in the testing phase. I want the job roles, not the phases. That's it. If you want to construct a house, only the developer and tester is enough, or do you need some more people? Database admin, yes. Database admin, DevOps engineer. So I'll consider it like DevOps engineer and database admin. DB admin can be here. There will be, when it comes to the database developer will be there, DB developer. Database tester also will be there. Raghavendra, tech support. Yes, exactly. Tech support engineer. Network engineer. So entire application is hosted somewhere. So definitely we need network engineers to enable the network and to protect the network. Developers, okay, ETL developers and ETL. No, technical designations we need, not the like administrative roles, technical roles. If you want to construct a house, do you directly give to the Mestri or testers, or do you want to do something in the beginning? Without architecture, is it possible to construct a house? So who is the person who works on the architecture? Designer, architect. Okay. Do you need architects or not? Even for the web applications also, there will be a main person who can perform this architecture of the application. Okay. Development architect or just architect. Architects can be development architect, testing architect, cyber security architect. A lot of architects are there, but mainly in the when it comes to the development of the application, this is the job role. How about who will decide like these features has to be there, these features should not be there, and it has to be in this manner for the application or any kind of product? Can I say like business development executives, business analyst? Yes, exactly. BA or business development executives, business development administratives, BA, BD. Okay. So these people will decide what kind of application, what kind of features has to be there for an application or not. DevOps, someone has mentioned DevOps, right? DevOps means development plus operations. These people will work on deploying the softwares, automating the jobs. That is the work that is being done by the DevOps engineer. So where is the cybersecurity engineer here? Okay, let me list down some of the phases. So when you want to do penetration testing or ethical hacking in a software company, when you get into the software company, right, it is not like, okay, they give the application and you continuously do the hacking. It is not like that. There will be some process followed. Process in the sense, the developers will develop the application and you are supposed to test it, and after testing they deploy the application to the production. Okay, and after production the technical support team will be there to resolve any kind of issues. So there is some cycle that is followed, that is called development life cycle. There are some phases in the development life cycle, those are called development phase. Remember, in development phase developers will write the code. In testing phase testers will perform the testing. So we have functional testers, security testers, performance testers. Once the testing is done, we need to do the deployment. And then after the deployment, the phase is support and maintenance. Before that, what is the phase before development? Can anyone tell me? High level design. We need the design. So before design, requirement gathering and analysis. Before that, it will be a plan or idea. Plan is something like, okay, you want to construct a, or you want to invent a car which will give you 50 kilometers per liter mileage. It is just an idea. We don't know whether it will work out or not. Plan or idea. So these are the phases of software development life cycle. It starts with planning, just an idea, and for that idea you need to check whether you have the enough budget, you have the enough resources, do you have enough skills in the sense you have some idea but you don't have the developers, you don't have the architects to implement that idea. In other way, you have the idea but it is not realistic in the sense you want to design a car with which will be like below 30,000 rupees. Is it possible? Not realistic. Okay, it is very difficult to design a car with 30,000. Even you cannot get a bike, right? So all these things are discussed in requirement gathering and analysis. So basically we check for feasibility. Feasible, is it possible or not? Reliable. Reliable means not realistic. You have some kind of imagination which you are not able to accomplish that. Resources, do you have the developers, do you have the testers? Budget, do you have enough amount to implement this planning or idea? Timeline. So all these things are discussed in the requirement gathering and analysis. So once we finalize the requirements or specifications, the architect will design the application, high level architecture. Okay, once that is done, then the developers will be there who works on the programming. Development team we can consider 5 members, 10 members, 2 members, it depends on the application. They start writing the program. Once that is done, testers will be there, functional testers, security testers. Their objective is to find defects and report the defects so that developers will fix it. Once the testing is done and the application is stable with less number of defects, it will go to the production. Production in the sense you are pushing the code to the customer's environment. And the final stage is the application is accessible to the customers and you get some customer issues, production issues, and you are supposed to take care of it. This is all about development life cycle. Okay. We start with planning and idea, requirement gathering and analysis, design, development, testing, deployment, and then support and maintenance. So whatever is there before the deployment, whatever is a phase before the deployment, that is called pre-production. Pre-production in the sense before we have given to the customers. So this phase is called pre-production, and whatever is there on the right hand side, this is called production environment or customer environment or live environment. pre-prod. This is called production or live environment. These are the terms which you have to remember: pre-production, production, live environment, customer environment, like that. Most of you would have heard manual testing. Have you heard of a course called manual testing? What do they do? What do this manual testing job roles they do? What is the work? What kind of work they do? Very easy job, and there will not be much stress. Basically, they try to find functional defects. Functional defects they find. To find that defects, they write test cases, they come up with test scenarios. That is the work that is done by the functional defects or functional testing they do. The objective is to find defects. Unless you test, you cannot find defects. Functional testing functional testing is done by the manual testers, and the objective is to find functional defects. Just like manual testing, there is one more called security testing. They also do the testing, but they don't concentrate on functionality. Can anyone tell me what is the security testing team will do? Security testers are none other than ethical hackers. Okay, in software development lifecycle, we will be involved, ethical hackers. But only thing is, we concentrate on the website here. Ethical hackers. Objective is to find security defects or vulnerabilities. Remember, we try to find vulnerabilities. We don't concentrate much on the functionality. Security testing people can do functional testing. Functional testing people cannot do security testing. The reason is we are going to learn a lot of tools plus concepts, and we are going to check for the vulnerabilities. Functional testing team cannot understand these vulnerabilities. That is the advantage for security testers. I'm going to cover manual testing also in one weekend, so that you guys can try even for the jobs related to manual testing. One weekend means 4 hours plus 4 hours, Saturday and Sunday. Maybe in the third week, like that, I'll try to cover just for your advantage. That's it. If you're not interested to attend, you can skip, but I would strongly recommend attend manual testing also along with security testing. When it comes to the security testing, we know like a lot of job roles: pen tester, right? VAPT engineer, lot many job roles are there. Okay, but as a security engineer, we also perform some kind of activities in the development lifecycle. In the testing phase, we perform testing of the website, that is called DAST, dynamic application security testing. So we are going to test the website here in case of DAST. Whereas in development phase, when the developers develop the code, we test the code, that is called static application security testing. We scan the source code and find the defects. Okay. In the designing phase and requirement gathering and analysis, both the phases, we do threat modeling. These things again I'm going to discuss, don't worry about that. For now, just try to understand the different job roles. So in a software company, there will be a lot of job roles. Out of these job roles, what does the developers do? What does the testers do? What is the different responsibilities for a DevOps engineer? What does the tech support team will do? Okay. So the objective of testers, be it functional testers or manual testers or security testers, they have to find the defects, be it functional defect, security defect, or performance defect, whatever it is. They have to find the defects and report those defects to the developers. They fix it, again you re-verify it. That is those are the main concepts in software development lifecycle. So what else we have to discuss? Let us discuss the types of defects and which one is more severe. If you want to find defects, you should be good in analyzing the scenarios. We'll get back to that. So before that, does anyone has any questions? Is it clear so far? So many concepts, these are supposed to be learned in your graduation. Just a kind of revision. When you get into the software company, what is that you should be clear with. Okay. If you have any questions, feel free to ask me. There will be a revision session from tomorrow or next week. So whatever I train you in the morning, you guys can attend one revision also in the evening hours for half an hour. If you have any doubts, you guys can discuss with them. Explain one more time everything. Functional testing versus security testing. We'll discuss that. Production and pre-production one more time. Explain. Production means manufacturing phase. Sorry guys. Pre-production means manufacturing phase. When you want to develop a car, so there will be some group, they develop only the UI, user interface, like doors, windows, all those things, glass doors. Okay, panel outside. There will be a team which will work on the tires. There will be a team which will work on the AC. These are all like different groups, right? And at last, what will they do? They assemble everything. Assemble and give it to the customer. So individual components will be developed and tested in the pre-production phase. They assemble and finally there will be a one release date, car launch date. They give it to the production. Production means customers. So this is what pre-production versus production. And coming to the functional testing versus security testing, we'll discuss that. We'll go through with some simple example. Okay. Pen testing also I'll explain you. So before that, do we need more defects or less defects in an application? That is the first question. When you are trying to develop an application, you expect more defects or less defects as a tester or as a security tester or functional testers. For any kind of application, we don't want more defects. We want less defects. Application should be secure and it should be defect free application, right? So our objective is to find defects and get the defects get fixed. That is one thing. There are two defects. Think like defect 1 is there D1, defect 2 is there D2. Defect 1 was found during the testing phase. Defect 2 is found during the support and maintenance after giving to the customer. Okay, so if there are any defects, who is the person going to fix those defects? Can I get the answer? You have reported some defect. Who will fix those defects? That is the question. Fixing means there will be some change in the code. Who has to do that change in the code? Remember, always the coding is done by the developers. If you report any defect, be it in the testing phase or in the support or maintenance phase, developers has to fix that code. Okay, yeah. One more question. Assuming like D1 and D2 are D1 issue and D2 are both are similar severity, same severity. I'm going to discuss the severity later. If they have both same severity, cost of fixing the defect. Cost of fixing the defect is more for D1 or D2. Cost means it can be like total number of hours spent by the developers or total number of customers affected and the time taken. Okay, so cost of fixing the defect will be more for D1 or D2, and if so, what is the reason? Cost of fixing the defect will be more for D1 or D2. Already we had discussed a similar concept, right? Yesterday or day before yesterday, I was talking about what is the impact if there is any issue in the production environment. They have to work on the support. They have to work on the support team and the recall the devices or the cars or any kind of units, and they have to replace it or fix it. So definitely cost of fixing the defect for D2 is more. Can I say like Cost of fixing the defect is more in production compared to pre-production. This is very, very important concept. Throughout your career, you have to remember this. Okay, it is not just for today or for ethical hacking. Basically, whenever there are some kind of defects in the production issue, it is very critical. They have to fix it immediately. Okay, and if you can find those defects in the development phase or testing phase, it will be like you are saving a lot of amount. For example, there are some bikes, I don't know, KTM. Do you guys see, like, when they introduced these KTM bikes, a lot of accidents used to happen, and they even recalled some of the bikes. Similarly, cars also, they have recalled because of the clutch. I don't know the manufacturing unit. These are all defects that are found in the production. If these kind of issues are there, when they do a recall, you have to invest a lot of amount for replacement of some of the components, and even for the support team. For everything, you need to spend a lot of time. Instead of that, I can hire good testers or security testers to find these kind of issues in the testing phase. That's the reason why manual testers or security testers has given more importance, and they are paid more. Shall we go through some of the issues like security defects or functional defects that has been happened in the past? I'll quickly walk through that. Then I'll take one example, and you need to figure it out what kind of issues can happen. Okay. These things we have discussed. As a software tester, you need to have knowledge on each and everything. Samsung Galaxy Note 7. As I discussed, there was some issue with the battery. Is it a functional defect or security defect? It has happened in 2016, overheating and fire bursting. The question is it a functional defect or a security defect? More or less related to functional defect, this is. Okay. Security also, because it is causing harm for the lives of the people. Both also is correct. What is the loss, or what is the amount that has been spent by the Samsung company? Is $5.2 billion. 5.2 billion. Imagine. Instead of that, I can hire 50 or 100 testers to test these kind of issues in the testing phase. That will be better, right? Yeah. Next one, General Motors. It is a car manufacturing company. The issue happened in 2014. Can anyone guess what is the problem? What is the problem with the General Motors? It is with respect to the cars, automobile. The issue is, I guess, ignition switch. Like, you are driving your car and you are going in 50, suddenly your car gets stopped. What will happen? The engine stops when you are in the speed of 70. That's it. Car may topple, or immediately, like, it is like applying a sudden brake when you are going in 70 or 80 speed. It is gears problem. Yes, gears problem and ignition switch. That was there in 2014, and that company has spent $4.3 billion to cover this issue. Okay. The next one, Takata. This is also car manufacturing company. The issue happened in 2000. The problem is with the airbag. So what is mean by airbag? Airbag has to come up when there is an accident. Even if there is no accident, also it is coming up. That's it. You know the difficulty in fixing the airbag, right? It is almost beyond the amount you spend for the airbag. Protection device, unnecessarily it gets opened up. They also spent a lot of money for it, $24 billion. The reason is, the moment you give the product or the application to the customers, you have to recall, you need to spend money and time and for the additional staff. That is the problem. Yahoo, this issue I already discussed. There was a issue with the source code hack, and Yahoo has been acquired by a different company now because of that issue. McAfee, does anyone know what is the issue with the McAfee? This also happened somewhere around 2009 or 10. What does this company do? First of all, they develop antivirus. They develop security tools like firewall, intrusion detection system, gateways, okay, and browser protection. Basically, they are into security. They try to develop products which can be used to stop hacking or any kind of unintended activities. The problem with McAfee, or the incident with McAfee, is, like each and software requires some kind of update, right? McAfee, when you install in your computer, say for example antivirus, it requires some updates. And moreover, McAfee has been used in lot of companies in the sense, lot of departments, like health department and military or hospitals, finance, lot of different fields. The McAfee antivirus is used, but they deployed one software or a wrong update. Your system will get into restart mode, and it will continuously restart. You will not be able to log in. Assume some patient's data is there in that computer, and completely you are not allowing the system to log in. What will happen? Is it an issue for the patient or not? Complete patient history is saved in one computer, and you deployed one update in that computer, McAfee update. He has to go through surgery, and he doesn't have the patient history. Everything is lost because of the McAfee update. So because of this, within 3 months or 4 months, the stock price has come down by 30 to 40%. 40% of the drop in the share value. Finally, it has been acquired by Intel company. 40% means like it is a very huge money. So why these issues are happening? Because the testing job, or testers, or security testers, or functional testers, they are not doing proper evaluation, or they don't have correct environment or test conditions to evaluate these scenarios. Now you understand the importance of the testers, right? Manual testers, security testers. Okay, this is all about defects and security testers, security defects. What next? Let us take one simple example. It is non-IT application, not a. We have time for another 45 minutes. Let me see how many of you are good testers in this group. To check that, if I give some product, you can take about pen, or you can take about a car, or you can take bike, or you can take a website. This is the target. I want you to find more defects. The objective is to find more defects. To find more defects, you need to come up with scenarios. Scenarios in the sense, what are the things you can test? That will be discussed as part of scenarios. So to do that, which target we will select, which application or the product we can select. Let us take only one example for now. IT application, non-IT application. Out of these three, let us start with non-IT application. I want you guys to select one product and list as many scenarios as possible for testing. We are going to do testing, but we want to list some scenarios. Let us take about car. Okay, what are the things you are going to test for a car? Assume like you are trying to purchase a car and you want to check some scenarios. We'll do this for 10 minutes. So you check for engine check, then mileage, What else? Think of it. I'll write all the scenarios. Just for 2 minutes, I am getting one important call. I'll receive it. So if you want to be a good tester, you need to come up with good scenarios. You'll check for the engine, you check for the mileage, and I'll try to list whatever you guys are posting it in the chat window. You check for the brakes. Then remote, of course. Indicators. And you evaluate or you test or validate. Brakes is covered. Battery. Okay. Steering. You check for the steering. Quality of the spare parts. Spare parts quality. Okay. Ground clearance. Okay. Grip in the sense, I'll say like comfort. Okay. Very important concept. Based on this, I'm going to discuss some more concepts. Okay. Battery, suspension, airbags. Airbags. Okay. Speed also you check. That is also very important concept. Lights already we discussed, right? Battery indicators, lights. Then car tires also will mention. Of course, you'll check even the service is good or not. Mileage is already discussed. Door latch lock mechanism. Reputation means brand. Brand also you check. Gear system, okay. Speed, that is covered. Safety. So as part of safety, what are the airbags we are trying to put? GPS, okay. Anything else? Color. In case of comfort, we'll try to put like AC, seating, camera. Lighting system is covered, road grip is covered. So as a tester, you are working for one of the car company. You need to check for all these conditions. Okay. Doors, windows, windshields. In a software development lifecycle, we discussed like when we have the defect in the production, the cost of fixing the defect will be more. Similarly, like when you are trying to test a car, you need to check all these scenarios and ensure that it is meeting the quality before the production itself. It is up to the standard. If it is not up to the standard, what we can do? They try to change or they try to fix any kind of issues. Anything else, guys? Any other scenarios which you want to test? Engine start, stop. Audio and video, comfort and safety, entertainment. How about one of you have mentioned one important thing? ABS, anti-braking system, which is very important for safety. Okay. Lock mechanism. Fair enough. We have got enough scenarios. So based on that, based on these scenarios, I'll try to list some defects. Okay. I'm going to list some defects. You need to tell whether those are functional defects or security defects or performance defects. There will be some performance defects also. Performance means your mileage is not good like that. Okay. I assume like we have tested all these scenarios and we have got 5 defects. 5 defects we are able to find out as a testing team. And those 5 defects I'm going to list it here. You need to tell what is what kind of defect it is. Is it a functional defect or a security defect or performance defect? Color has been faded. Faded in the sense, is the spelling correct? You developed a car, but the color is not up to the mark. So can you guys tell me, is it a functional defect or a security defect or performance defect? Color is something, it is an attribute for a car. Okay. This is a functional defect. Of course, within functional defect, it comes under UI issue, user interface, beautification. Okay. The next defect, I say like car mileage is less, 10 instead of 15. So how do you test car mileage? You have to drive and see how it is performing. Is it a functional defect or performance defect or security defect? I have given the answer in the question itself. Okay, this is performance defect. One more. AC is not working beyond or below 18. There will be something, 18 degrees centigrade or whatever it is. Below 18, AC will turn off. Is it functional defect, performance, or security? Anything related to the car, it will come as functional. Performance means you need to check the car with respect to the time or with respect to some load. This is again like functional defect. Fourth one, car will not start. Okay, I should not say load. If the maximum weight in the car is, when I say weight, it is like traveling people's weight. The maximum total weight in the car is greater than 6 5 30, 300 kgs. The car is not at all starting, is like we'll not be able to move the car itself. Okay, it's not like you are able to start the engine, but you are not able to travel. Is this a performance defect or security defect or functional defect? It is a performance defect. Okay. Partially you can consider security performance. The next one, you brought a sports car which is costing about 1 crore, but engine is getting started for every remote. Assume like I have a remote for i10 and my friend has a remote to unlock the car for Ford, and one more friend had the sports car he purchased for 1 crore, but that car is getting unlocked even for the remote of Ford or even for the remote of i10. What kind of defect it is? Functional, performance, or security? What will happen in case some other person is there, thief, he comes and steals the car by using the remote, 1 crore over. If the mileage is less, still he has a car with him. If the speed is less, still the car is with the owner. If the locking system is not good, what will happen? Entire car is gone. It has been stolen by someone else. This is the security issue. Okay. Next one. Assume like I have a car manufacturing company called Hack. Of course, I don't have it. Everything is perfect, but in the logo, it has come like, instead of Hack, it has come like Hack. Is this a functional defect or security defect or performance defect? This is a functional defect, but the priority is more. It has to be fixed immediately. The logo is very important for any kind of company. It talks about brand. Do you purchase a Benz car if the logo is not perfect? You don't purchase it. Everything is perfect. Speed, mileage, looks, everything. But logo, instead of bench, it has come as Ben. That's it. You will not purchase because you are purchasing the car because of the logo, right? It is also functional defect, but very priority is more. Okay. Let me give some severities for it. Total, we have 6 defects are there. Color has been faded. Car mileage is less. AC is not working. So out of 1 and 2, which one is more severe? Severe in the sense how much damage it is causing for the functionality. That talks about severity. So defect 1 is severe or defect 2 is severe? Compared to 1 and 2, which one is more severe? If the color is not good, that's okay. Mileage is more important because we spend a lot of money. Definitely the severity is more for second one. Car mileage is less. How about compared to 2 and 4, which one is more severe? Second one is mileage issue. Fourth one is car itself is not getting started if the load is more. Second is performance defect. Fourth is also performance defect, but which one is more severe? Out of 2 and 4, which one is more severe? No, out of 2, if I say, we have to select only one. So the correct answer is 4. The reason is, at least with less mileage, we are able to drive the car in case of second defect. But in case of fourth defect, you cannot drive the car. Okay. So fourth is more severe. Out of all 6, which one is more severe? So whatever I have listed are the defects. I am deciding about the severity. Remember the definition of the severity. The degree of the extent how badly the application functionality has been impacted. That is called severity. The urgency of fixing the defect is called priority. So severity means how much damage it has caused to the application, functional damage. That is called severity. Priority means how important it is to fix the defect, how important or how much urgency to fix the defect. So compared to all the 6 defects, the severity is high for 5th. Basically, the reason is it is a security defect, and that is a security defect. Definitely, like after giving a car which is worth for 1 crore, if he loses his car or someone steals the car, it is really a very huge loss for the customer. So definitely the severity is high for 5th one. So the range of severities for any kind of products are critical, high, medium, low. Low being the very less severity and critical being a very high severity. So you need to rate defects with respect to the severity, whether you are doing functional testing or manual testing or security testing or performance testing. When you report a defect, you need to report these things also. Severity also you have to mention. So for sports car, I would say critical. Just like severity, we have priority as well. Severity talks about the damage to the application functionality. Priority, how about priority? Urgency to fix the defect. How urgent it is to fix the defect? Urgency means should we fix it for immediate? Should we fix it within before giving it to the customers or after giving to the customers, like that? If you talk about 1 and 5, which one has more priority? Assume like priorities are P1 to P5. P5 being less priority, P1 is like highest priority. Highest in the sense it has to be fixed soon. Out of 1 and 5, which has to be given more priority? One is color issue, 5 is about remote issue. So even the priority is also high for the sports car. Okay, if P1 we have to give for the 5th one. Out of 2 and 6, which one has to be given more priority? 2 and 6. So if you have the logo incorrect, you don't release it to the market. So priority has to be given for the 6th one. Remember that. Okay. Without logo, no one will buy. They'll think like it is a duplicate product. That's it. So as a company owner, application owner, logo we have to prioritize. Okay. But severity is different, priority is different. Out of 5 and 6, if you talk about severity, severity is high for remote issue, 5th one. And if you talk about 5 and 6, priority is high for 6th one. We don't release the car itself if the logo is incorrect. So this is all about severity, priority, defect, quality, security defect, functional defect. Remember, functional defects are security defects are called vulnerabilities. Throughout our course, we are going to learn a lot of vulnerabilities. Just like the way how you develop scenarios for non-IT application, that is car. Out of pen, car, and bike, we have selected car, and we developed these many test scenarios. So in tomorrow's session, I'm going to take a website. You need to list down the scenarios. Okay, we'll do that in tomorrow's session. For today's session, what else we need to cover? Just give me a second. There are some more concepts, but it will really take a lot of time. And moreover, I think today we have covered a lot of theory. Tomorrow we'll get into some interesting thing. We'll talk about hacking and how the hacking can happen and how do we hide our identity from the external world. When you do hacking, you don't announce it in newspaper or media, right? You should be silent. You hack something and be quiet. We don't promote that as an event like, okay, I hacked so and so system or I hacked my friend's mobile like that. So there are a lot of things, good things to discuss. I want to start some new concept, but it is going to take some time. Or else I'll give a walkthrough of the incidents that has happened in the past. Okay. Some of the security threats that has happened. We didn't cover that. So the vulnerability can happen in a web, network, mobile, or cloud. Some of you have worked on the two threats, right, in the past. Equifax is one of the threat, security breach. It is an online portal, and the issue is because of the Apache Struts framework. Panera Bread, we are able to see the details in the plain text. Rail Europe, again, like this is a ticket booking app in Europe, Rail Europe. The attackers has injected a skimming software in the web so that they are able to get all the details of the customers. There are some more security compromises, but targeting the network. We discussed about target, right? Malware read the information from POS systems. So there is a malware within the network. It was reading all the data from the POS systems. That is with respect to the target stores. And Yahoo, unauthorized access to accounts without password through hacking. Complete source code hack. CoinRail. So this is something related to Bitcoin, I guess. They completely hacked the storage. And the JP Morgan. So interesting thing with JP Morgan is attackers gained access to only one system, one server. From there, again, they compromised another 28 servers. This has happened with respect to the JP Morgan. Similarly, like even mobiles also, it has been compromised. Under Armour. This is a fitness app, I guess. Attackers compromised that app and took all the details of the customers. British Airways. This is with respect to the flight booking apps. Again, they compromised the mobile app payment gateway. Deloitte, National Electric. Like this, security breaches are there in each and every domain. We need a lot of importance is given for the security testers. We should be in a position to find any kind of security defects so that the application is free from vulnerabilities. We'll have a quiz on tomorrow's session because that has to be covered few more concepts. I think we are good for today. Does anyone has any questions? Okay, I see like one question from Vamshi. Can you explain what is the job role of security analyst? Yes, that is the interesting thing. Any other questions? So what do we do as a security engineer or an ethical hacker? See, as a security tester, security engineer, or ethical hacker, or as a pen tester, your job is to ensure that the application has to be secured, be it a website or mobile app or network, whatever it is. Your job is find security defects. Security defects are nothing but vulnerabilities and get it fixed. That's it. So how do you find it? If you want to find security vulnerabilities, you should be good in testing. But along with that, you have to learn some tools and concepts. There is no coding is involved. You just need to learn some tools, around 10 to 15 tools along with the concepts, so that it will be easy for you to perform security testing for these targets and report the defects. As and then you find more vulnerabilities, you will become a good security engineer. That's it. Okay. Explain more about functional testing versus security testing. Okay, not about functional testing. Severity and priority, right? So severity means like damage, priority means urgency of fixing the defect. There is a defect. I'll give one more example. There is a defect in Windows 7 system and Windows 10 system. In Windows 7, the severity is critical, and in Windows 10, the severity is low. Not like this. Let me take some other example. Remember the definition. Whenever you talk about severity, you need to consider like how much damage it is causing for the application functionality. So if you talk about logo, is there any damage to the functionality there? For the logo issue, is there any damage to the functionality? Functionality is working fine. You are able to drive the car with the expected speed and expected mileage. So here, I'll give less severity for it. Severity will be low, but priority is P1, highest priority. The reason is, though the severity is less, it is very important from the business perspective. Whenever you talk about priority, you need to think from the business perspective. It will impact the business priority. Okay. Severity is from the functional perspective. That is the main difference. Any other questions? Deployment comes under production or post-production? That is one question. See, deployment means we are trying to deploy. We are trying to push the code to the production. So deployment itself is called production deployment. Okay, remember that. Deployment means we are trying to push the code to the production. Pre-production, production is also called live environment. I'm going to have one more revision on these things tomorrow because a lot of theory, but it is very important for you to know like what do you do as a security engineer. I'll tell some more roles about these security engineers. We don't work on the code, but we work on the tools. Any other questions? Tomorrow we are going to discuss the phases of penetration testing. Assume like there is some target, some website. How do you start hacking? What is your approach? And what are the tools you are going to use? That specific concept, phases of penetration testing, pen testing, we'll discuss tomorrow along with the revision of this session. Then we'll have a quiz. Don't worry about severity, priority, defect. I'm going to revise those concepts again when we discuss about manual testing in the weekend. Okay, guys, thank you so much. We'll catch up again on tomorrow.